Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back. Today we're going to be recreating the famous cue Romantic Flight written by John Powell for the movie How to Train Your Dragon. It's a fantastic piece of film music that needs no introduction, and unfortunately my mockup doesn't do it justice. But I hope you learn a thing or two. I know I did. As always, all the session files are available on my Patreon, so feel very free to check that out if you're interested. There's a lot of other stuff too, so I hope you'll enjoy the video. I think this is probably going to be quite challenging, particularly some of the later parts. The orchestration is quite dense, and we'll try to approximate it. Yeah. So let's start with the beginning of the cue. Beautiful. So this is really pretty, and the harmony is super simple. It's basically like a 1-4-5 progression in B major. And then we go into the B section. So just a few simple chords, a few simple triads over, a pedal tone, a B pedal tone. Same with this F major, F sharp major over B, that becomes basically a B major 9. And in terms of orchestration, we have a few things. We should have the melody on cellos and French horns, and a few other parts for the accompaniment. Let's start with the melody as we always do. And for the accompaniment, let's start with sustains, and then we add the rhythmical parts and the textures later. These should be the basic parts that form the accompaniment, and I believe there's quite a bit more. There are some parts that are a little bit more active, with some string divisi doing some sort of arpeggiation and some kind of rhythmical accompaniment as well on the low woods and the double basses, of course. So let's start with the basses, and then we'll add the rest. One last thing, I may have spotted the clarinet maybe doubling the melody in unison. I don't think they doubled the melody from the start. They probably have like a counter kind of thing that goes together with the second violin from the beginning of the section, and then it kind of joins the melody right at the end. So let me record that. I'm not sure. I don't think I'm hearing anything else, so I'm just gonna move on to the following section. I might come back to this later. So let me figure out the harmony first. Yeah, something like that, just 3 chords. Boy, it's hard to play in B. This is a good exercise. I think we have a bunch of octaves on the strings and some woodwinds, higher woodwinds as well, with the melody on the flutes and some percussion with the mark tree and, you know, cymbals as well, so, you know. And now the only thing that should remain is the ear candy stuff with harp and cymbals and, you know, mark tree. There you go, and let's add the rest. Let's just have a listen to the following section. Is the build up into, you know, the big version of the main theme. Okay, so I played with this a bit, and I think harmonically we quite simply go from a B major over F sharp, so over its fifth, to E over F sharp. So it's basically like an F sharp 11, right? It's a dominant suspended sound. We do that a couple of times, and the second time we repeat that, but we skip to the next inversion, and then it's the same idea again, but we bring that to a higher octave on the violin, and then for the last bar we hold this chord and we do like an ascending line going to A flat major, which is the key for the following section. So basically it's a pivot point modulation, right? Because from chord 5 we don't resolve back to B, but we go to A flat. That is a different key. So let's start recording some stuff. I'm gonna record the top voice because it's the easier one. So starting with the violin. Okay, so that's the foundation, and basically the rest of the orchestra kind of contributes to the build. Also, you haven't seen me doing this, but I changed the last bar on cellos. I just give them a little run. I think they're doing something like this. So let's go ahead and record the rest of the orchestra. So brass and woodwinds. So something came up and I had to stop for a few days. of course, I completely lost track of everything I was doing. If this transition looks very weird in the video, you know why. And for continuity's sake, I'll try to be wearing the same clothes. So let's listen to the new section. This is incredible. It's gonna be pretty hard to do. Let's start with the easy part, so the harmony. I believe we have an A flat pedal tone in the low register, and the melody should go like this. And second time through, we should have the same chords, but we lose the pedal tone. So we go to F minor, so the relative minor. Flat, D flat, and then we have this cool little thing resolving to G flat major, so to chord 7, but it's the flat 7, so it's the Mixolydian mode or a modal interchange. I don't know, it depends on how you see it. Let's try to give this a go with the orchestration. I believe for the melody we should only have cellos. So basically, the audio got corrupted and I have 1 hour of footage that literally sounds like this. Yeah, I just noticed as I was editing the video. I'm just gonna try to edit it in such a way that it doesn't look like it. But I'm gonna have to basically take parts from the mockup, so that has already been tweaked and everything. It sucks, but I don't want to start over. I hope you understand. Yeah, sorry about that. Okay, so the next section should be like a big build up, you know, like a 4 bars transition into, you know, like a big version of the theme. So let's have a listen. These little, you know, transitory moments, they're always pretty hard to do because the orchestration, you know, tends to change quite drastically, And so I'm gonna do my best to try and recreate it, but you know, the overall idea behind this should basically be something like this. We go from this G flat minor to E flat minor. We do that a couple of times, and then we modulate to the key of D flat. And in terms of melody, we only really have a couple of phrases that should be repeating and get passed on to different instruments. So starting with cellos over here, and then we go to the woodwinds. Right, so let me give this a try. That's about everything I'm hearing at the moment, so let's have a listen to the following section, the big version of the theme. It's so difficult to stop this music. I want to listen to this in full. There's no need to say anything else. I think the music speaks for itself. At least the harmony is simple. That's the one thing that I'm pretty confident we're gonna get right. So we basically repeat the theme we had at the beginning of the piece a second time, but it's now in a different key. We're now in D flat major, and the progression, I believe, is still the same, but in a different key. So it's transposed to the key of D flat major. I get a feeling this video is going to be longer than the other ones. So let's just carry on with the orchestration. We have the melody on cellos once again and a bunch of other instruments. So let's start with those maybe. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna grab it from the beginning of the section and copy paste. And that should also go to at least one clarinet, oboe, flutes. I think there is a piccolo indeed, but it's from the second half of the section. And then what about the rest? In terms of background textures, I believe we have some arpeggiation on violin 2 and viola. You know, just basically like the first part of the piece, yeah. It's a little hard to play and keep track of all the chords and everything, so I'm just gonna write it in. I'll show you at the end how it sounds like. Okay, so here's how it looks like. Here is basically just some arpeggios. This is the strings only. As I was listening to the track, I think I noticed some high violins as well. I believe I'm hearing octaves, but they're quite light as well. So I think it may be violin 1 divisi. So I'm just basically gonna copy paste, yeah, what we have in the cellos. And also, last thing, for the strings at least, I think the double basses are divisi as well, because I'm hearing pits together with, you know, the sustains that we recorded before. So I'm just gonna quickly add those in. I think that's where they stop. And the last thing should be percussion. And yeah, so it's the usual stuff, you know, harp, doing some arpeggios and glissandos, and we have as well at the beginning of the section. So cool. So let's finish it. We're gonna do the last 5 bars. Yeah, we're not gonna do this section at the end. We're gonna just do a fade out or something. So let's have a listen. So starting from what we already have, I think we need to modify a couple of parts. For example, this note length is just wrong. I believe the first violin should be playing a run up to F sharp and then hold it, or G flat, and then hold it. Oh, that sounds horrible. Cool. So I'm just now gonna add the bass because it's easy. Have some shorts on the horns and then some sustains on the rest of the section, maybe some trumpets as well. Cool, and then just a couple of things at the end we're missing is just choir and percussion. I mean, these would have to make do. I don't have the right choir patch for this. You know, it needs a lot more vibrato, it needs to be much more powerful, but I just don't have it yet. Then let's just add some percussion on the build up over there, and then we'll call it a day. I mean, I'm gonna have to tweak this a bit, just, you know, to make it more presentable, but that will be about everything, I think. That should be about everything, and I'm gonna have to take a break from it, maybe listen to it tomorrow, just, you know, to compare to the original, figure out some more details maybe, and just of course tweak the mock-up to make it a little bit better. That is everything for today, guys. We're gonna be playing the music in just a second, but before we do, I just want to quickly remind you that if you're interested in the session files, those are already available on my Patreon alongside other extra educational resources I made for other videos as well. Additionally, if you're interested in learning more about composition and orchestration in general, you can check out my course 20th Century Orchestral Writing I made in collaboration with Master the Score. Links in the description. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hit the like button if you did, and subscribe if you're new. Leave a comment below if you have any question, and I guess I'll see you on the next one. Bye.